Welcome to the Success Partner Podcast. I'm Daya Naef, your host and founder of The Success Partner. On this show, we dive into the stories of attorneys, business professionals, and entrepreneurs who have navigated the ups and downs of building successful careers and businesses. From the strategies they've implemented to the challenges they've overcome, we're here to uncover the insights that can help you on your own journey to success. So sit back, relax, and let's get started. Welcome back, everybody, to the Success Partner Podcast. I'm your host, Daya Naef, and today we have Bob Tankesley, who has just written a book on building exit teams, which we've been talking about. It's amazing. We've met through the Exit Planning Exchange. Bob, I'd just love for you to share with our audience about you and what you do.
Well, great. Thanks, Daya, and thanks for having me on today to talk to your audience. So I do M&A work. I'm an M&A mergers and acquisitions advisor for the lower mid-market. Ask 3 or 4 people like me, you'll get 5 or 6 different answers on what the lower mid-market actually means. For me, a kind of a shortcut definition would be a company that grosses maybe 4 to 5 million on the low end, 30, 40, 50 million of revenue on the high end per year. It can have one owner, it can have several different owners, but it's privately held and is often the target of sophisticated buyers these days, such as private equity firms, strategic acquirers, whether public or private, family offices, high net worth individuals. So a lot of buyers are finding, hey, let's not try to build something on our own. Let's buy something that's out there already, that's working well for someone.
They're actually teaching that like in the business schools now, actually going out and acquiring businesses instead of founding them yourself.
Yeah, there's this whole movement of buy or build or buy. A lot of evidence points to buy something that is, I'm sure we'll get into it, either optimized or it's on its way to becoming optimized, and then build on that foundation that someone else started.
Yeah. Tell us more about that optimization.
So an optimized company, from my point of view, as someone who sells small businesses, an optimized company is one that has had a lot of risks removed, a lot of problems solved, a lot of errors fixed, so that when a sophisticated buyer comes along, they see that there's not much more or as much more that needs to be done to it as other types of companies that might also be on the market at the same time. So an optimized company has cleaned up financial statements. You can't talk about how to look at small businesses without first going to those financial statements. I am a CPA, that I don't do that kind of work anymore, but I know my way around financial statements, and that tends to be the first place that buyers go to. It's got great financials. It's got a lot of the right people that work in the business, and the owner or owners have done quite a bit of work over the years to attract and retain some of the best people. It's got a market leading presence for what it sells, either products or services or a mix of both. So an optimized company has figured out a lot of the pathways to success that perhaps a future buyer might want to take ownership of.
Yeah, that's awesome. Can you share a success story?
So I just closed one in October of last year, still fairly fresh. It was a 3-location antiques and interiors mall. So think my client had space that was made available for vendors to sell their antiques and their interior items. Fantastic business, generating lots of cash flow. Over the course of 25 years, one owner had built up layers of middle management at each of these 3 locations, which really made her able to not have to be at each of those locations on a regular basis, or frankly, very much at all. She was gotten herself to, more of at a strategic level behind the scenes. It was still great to drop in at each location and, see what was going on. But because she had put the right people in place all along, the buyers came and saw that had basically been done, but she had basically built a franchise without, a fully franchised type of model. It was very turnkey, very successful for her. That happens often where owners take the time to invest in middle management. I get it. There's a cash flow drain that happens when you do that. So it's a little bit of pain on the front end. But again, if your buyer is going to be a sophisticated type of buyer, they're going to want to see that the business can survive without you. That it almost doesn't matter who owns this business.
Yeah, no founder dependency if they come in.
Top of the list.
Yeah.
Good point. But buyers are always trying to figure that out. It always comes up in the first conversation or two. What happens to this business if something happens to this seller? They're all thinking it.
Yeah. And so even if you're not thinking about selling, which is most of my audience, how does this system work even then?
So I think with what I would prescribe here in the book, exit teams, You can find that at exitteams.com. Website is being built out, but mainly you can find that book currently at Amazon. Just start typing in Exit Teams. It should be the first hit. The subtitle, Build a Team of Advisors for Your Business Sale to Get a Higher Price. So to your point, even if you don't sell, what needs to be done? The first thing I start off with is, what is my company's value? And you might think, well, I'm never going to sell, or I don't know that I have something to sell. Do I really need to understand my value? I would suggest, if you've been in business for 5, 10 years, no matter what you're doing, it's helpful to have an understanding of value. It can make you start. I've done about 130 valuations over the years, and each time I give one of these reports to an owner, they start making different and better decisions about their business from that point forward, because now they're learning how buyers look at their company, which, again, even if you're not selling, it can very much work in your favor to think like a buyer. You end up running an optimized business for doing so. The next step in the prescription is to build a team of advisors. So your audience, though they may not sell their company at any point in the future, to have a team of advisors around them, all weighing in and collaborating among themselves, giving guidance, can often produce even better results than the owner would have obtained on their own. The next step, optimize my company, means optimization means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. As I said before, an optimized company is a company that is able to attract more capital on better terms. It's able to enable the owner to hire better people than they might have been able to otherwise. It would enable the owner to buy up weaker competitors. And back to my first point about knowing your value, you kind of have to know your value before you even start the buying process of other companies, because then you'll start learning how to value businesses that are out there. That's obviously the next step, is to think like a buyer. If you do intend to sell, it's good to knock those objections out before any buyer has a chance to raise them. So yeah, that's if you're never going to sell your company, but you still want to optimize it, I would say understand value and start building that team around you.
Absolutely. When you were talking about like financing options, it reminds me of that phrase, take it to the bank.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if it's ready to go, then it's as best as you can do it. And it's sort of your tangible proof that this is operating well, even though it's like I've been thinking it's operating well, but now I actually have documented black and white. Hey, you know what? This is doing the best I can do it.
In fact, if you can impress a banker with your financials, and you can borrow the money, and even though you may not need it, you can just get pre-qualified for some future need. If you can impress a banker these days, you're doing something right.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's a great standard to be at. Yeah. So like, what do you do for fun? What's Bob's off time look like?
So I don't think you can see in my screen yet, but I do have some hiking paraphernalia scattered throughout my office. So someplace above 3,000 feet, preferably in North Georgia, Western Carolina, maybe the Smokies on the Tennessee side. Yeah, I can't get enough of being outdoors. Yard work, I do a lot of my own yard work. Just really enjoy being outdoors. I've got a large family, wife and 5 kids, and so we like to spend time with each other outdoors as well.
That's great. Yeah, it's good. That's a perfect, that brought back memories. I have been up in the Smokies and did a lot of that in my teens with extended family, and definitely have fond memories of all that clear air and clear water, and just getting out in nature and bonding.
Keep threatening that my wife, that I'm gonna hike the Appalachian Trail, but I don't know that I'll do it all at once. That would be I guess a 6 or 7 month ordeal if you do it all at once. So I'd probably do it in sections. They have a thing called section hiking, where you can hike, in cooler months of each year, but just spread it out over, 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, that makes sense. I've known people try to do the whole thing, and they had to like gain 30 pounds so that they could like survive off of their own.
Yeah.
Like, no, that's a little too survivalist for me and not enough fun and nature.
I think that the stats are pretty daunting. I think 1 out of 5 that start actually complete it in any way, either all at once or in sections. 2,100 something miles. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that takes some dedication. Well, Bob, how do people find you when they have questions about, I know how to get your book, but how do they get a hold of you?
Sure. Email is a great way. Bob at Exit Teams. That's an S, Teams with an S, exitteams.com. And phone number 770-633-1083.
Great. Right. And for everybody that didn't grab a pen, that will be in the show notes. You can get a hold of Bob when you're looking to optimize your business, which I think that's good for everybody. So thank you, everybody. Again, this has been an episode of the Success Partner Podcast. I am your host, Daya Naef. Please stay tuned, like, and subscribe, and we'll be back. Thank you for joining us on the Success Partner Podcast. I hope you enjoyed today's conversation and found some valuable takeaways to apply to your own business journey. Remember, this show is brought to you by The Success Partner, where we help small law firms and business owners achieve unparalleled success through strategic guidance, operational excellence, and effective marketing. If you're ready to take your business to the next level, visit thesuccesspartner.net to learn more. Until next time, keep striving for success, and I will see you in the next episode.